Are you boys here for the Triple B Boy podcast? Because here at the BBB podcast, we smoke weed and break down the latest matchups. Let's go!
Tried to hold that together as long as I could.
My team, my choice.
Hashtag my team, my choice, baby.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny. It was God, crack.
I was gonna say, it makes me feel better. I'm not the only one blitzed on this thing. So
fuck
right.
no, dude.
I wish I
actually
was.
just ran to the store and back.
Good man.
I gotta
What'd
be
you get?
prepared. I bought like 4 different cartridges.
I thought you'd be surrounding yourself with Mountain Dew and stuff. You got the good stuff. I see.
Well, he already had that stocked, so he didn't need that.
Yeah, no, I'm always stocked there, bro.
He gets a
Blast on
Pepsi
Cook.
delivery to his place every week, you know.
I do get my groceries and drinks delivered, yes.
Yes.
Smart
You're
man.
smart about that. But no, boys, it was a heck of a week. Some disappointments, some not so disappointments. Bren, how's it feel to come out on top?
Oh boy, I'll tell you what, a big difference what a week makes. Because last week I didn't even want to do the podcast. I was so upset about my performance, you know. This week I feel great.
Yeah, it was. I know. I was looking at the scores, and it's kind of been a shame though. The last, the first 2 weeks, there hasn't been really like any close games. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I
nothing really
mean-
decided by just a couple points.
right? Like mine and Justin's was only decided by 6 points, but that game was never really like in question. I guess you know what I mean.
Like, I'm not fighting for it the entire time.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Like it was kind of already determined. Like
There's
pretty
like a
much how it's
miracle
gonna
or nothing type.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, I only won by 1 point because my guy really sucked or whatever, or
Mhm.
anything like that. And same with this. I mean, although it is kind of crazy to see, like, Barber with 162 this week. And I just felt like, I don't know if you guys felt this way, that almost like everything was swapped. Like the people that did really well last week, for the most part, did kind of crappy this week. And vice versa, like the people that were, except for Craig, who's still chef.
Yeah, you guys suck. Jeez.
Well, really, Craig and Funk. So I guess I can't say that. Never mind. Like,
hey man, if I'm anything, I'm consistent. 90 points.
that's fair.
I got a huge kick out of Justin this morning on Snapchat.
Right.
just kind of bitching because it just cracks me up because he had a crazy performance from Diggs. And even though Matt put up 162, if Delvin Cook had a Delvin Cook game where he puts up 20, 30 points, he would have won.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, though, this is where I like him having an RB2 could have helped that situation. You know what I mean? Like if
draft better, bro.
Well, right. That's where I was saying pre-draft or post-draft, I should say. If instead of taking Mahomes in the 5th and then Lamar in the 7th,
right around the corner, yeah,
in the 7th, with one of those picks, you could have had a higher upside RB2 than what you have, and they might win you that game, and stuff. So that's where I don't feel as bad for him on that aspect.
Gotcha.
Because
I was looking at it as Delvin Cook being that first round pick, you don't expect to see single digits from him, so it's like
right.
Maybe if you would have drafted one of them other better first
Right,
round
but
picks.
you gotta think too. Barber from his RBs got 7 and 10. So
I know it always.
you know what I mean. So like, it's kind of like his. It's not like, oh, that's the reason. Is because Cook got 7, and then
no, I'm just looking at last night
got.
where he's trying to make the comeback. And he was actually doing it. And it was like he was down by so many points. I was like, he's lost for sure.
You won, 16 points from your number 1 overall pick that you hope for, and he puts up 7.6.
Right. At the same time, though, that's where like you could also argue like getting 44 from Stefan. Like, how often is that going to happen too? Like, you can't count on that every week either. It's where they kind of even out. It's
Gonna
where, like
be
you
more
said,
common. We're seeing it
I
quite
was gonna
often.
say,
it
Jalen
if
should.
Waddle,
anything,
Cup,
going into
Adams.
week 2, receivers they're way too volatile. Like it's 12 receptions and 150 yards. 3 touchdowns is a lot, but still 30 points, man. That seems to be like the standard at this point.
Right. It
Right.
almost
I mean,
becomes a standard. Yeah.
right. It did help that Gabe Davis wasn't in there. Now, I'm not saying Stefan still wouldn't have balled out,
Right. Right. Sure.
but and so I mean, but those situations happen where you know people either are injured into that game that help another person or whatever. That was crazy too, though. The Waddle and Tyreek Hill just evening
All of
each
Yeah.
other
Miami,
out
bro.
at
All of
40
Miami
Whew.
was
points
crazy,
each.
dude.
Like that was insane. So that was kind of one of the things that I took away. And then Max stepped up.
Mm-hmm.
Those were 2 really good games actually. Like Dan has nothing to hang his hat on either, like or has
Right.
because he did pretty well too. So
Mm-hmm.
just Mac kind of balled out with Aaron Jones, Cup, Adams. Like it's just hard sometimes, you know. But
Right.
then, Bren gets the cupcake this week with Funk barely
That's
putting up
Agnew.
not even 80 points. He didn't even put up 80 points. And then,
Yeah, he's figuring some stuff out.
yeah,
To be fair,
both
again, Henry, very pedestrian game. Chase Edmonds, you can see why that didn't go well, but Aaron Rodgers,
yeah,
only
I
18.
was
Like,
I was wrong about his team. I thought his team was a low key sleeper team. But now that's not the case. After
I
2
mean,
weeks, I'm putting
He's
the nail in
been
the coffin.
extremely unlucky just looking at his team,
yeah,
already dealing with a couple injuries.
Keenan
Akers not
Allen, Akers,
panning
yeah.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Irv
And
Smith, both his tight ends look like pretty good up and comers as far as producing, so that's good to see at least. I mean, Ertz until Hopkins gets back looks like he's going to be utilized as a weapon. Irv Smith showing some prowess out there. 14
yeah,
points.
I mean, Irv is 50-50 because he had 0 points
Yeah.
in week 1. So
Right.
Well, I mean, we're only 2 weeks in, so yeah.
no, I know, but that's what I mean. Like I wouldn't go that far to call him a bust or a up and comer yet. Like if he
It's
doesn't
good to yeah, I hear
he
you.
does it a couple weeks in a row, then yeah, I would say that. But at the same time, for the most part, outside of the top, 3 or 4 tight ends, everyone's kind of 50-50. I mean, look at Pitts right now.
I would say everybody's 50-50 currently besides a few of the
Kelsey and
receivers.
Andrews, pretty
Yeah,
much.
Kelsey still steps up to be above all. Andrews,
Oof.
yeah, depending.
Kelsey is so good.
He's
So
so
good.
good. They use him as a
Andrews
receiver. They're like the only team that
Andrews
will.
has shocked me. He's legit. I didn't know if he
Yeah,
was, but he is. He's good.
He is the man. I agree.
Yeah.
I thought that was gonna be Pitts this year, Bren.
I did too. I did too. I mean, I'm not completely like freaking out yet,
Yeah,
because it's still Atlanta, so like I think they still have to figure out their identity a little bit, and I think
right.
Pitts could get going and be just fine. But I yeah definitely. I mean, I already took him out. I put Higby in, so
Yeah, I saw that. I
yeah.
was like, but no, that's smart than hanging out too long and then he just keeps dragging you down.
Right, and I saw the matchup too, and I was like, they'll probably put fucking Jalen Ramsey on him. Like, fuck that. Like,
Right. Yeah.
take a seat, little buddy.
So, but yeah, no, then Nate had a hell of a game. I mean,
Fuck that
uh
guy. Fuck that
Nick
guy.
Chubb gets 32,
I
Amon
don't
Nick
like
Ra
him.
Chubb,
almost
dude.
40.
Amun Ra, dude. Oh my god. I'm so.
Oh,
Like
I'm
I took him
so upset
last year. I took him a year
with him.
too early, dude.
Right?
although he does have a Dalton Schultz injury to deal with, so we'll see what he does with
Nah,
tight
he's
end.
got Darren Waller, bro.
Yeah, I
Oh
wonder what
yeah,
he
he
did
just
there.
oh yeah, he just oh yeah, so yeah, let's get to that white elephant
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
room.
Way
So
to go.
Craig, you were pretty busy today.
It was a busy day for Craig. I woke up, I was driving, and I'm just sitting there thinking, dude, like, what is. I'm trying to figure out this puzzle that is fantasy football. Nothing makes sense.
Right.
This year has been so wonky.
It has.
Nothing makes sense. I'm looking at my team. I really don't like my team. I'm just
Same.
looking at overall, like, what I'm going to have to essentially suffer through and hope for better, and or try to make something happen now. So yes, I did go out. I was aggressive with some trades today. What one would you like to hear about first?
Explain the one to me. The one I'm having trouble wrapping my head
Darren
around.
Waller for Allen Robinson, Jeff Wilson. So my original thought, it was going to Nathan, obviously, because he has tight end troubles. If you look at all these tight ends around the league, there's several tight ends on the waiver wire that I'll just tell you right now, since because I'm number 2 on waiver claims, the only person that will beat me is Funk. Funk shouldn't be taking this guy for obvious reasons. So I will be taking Gerald Everett, who is basically a cheap version of Darren Waller. I like the way he looked. I understand he got more volume because Keenan Allen was out. However, last week when Keenan Allen was in, he still scored 11 points. If you're looking at look at all the tight ends right now, like every almost like there's like 10 to 15 tight ends that have like fucking 10 to 12 points. That might be dramatic. It might be like 7 to 8. But there's a lot of tight ends right there right now that are just all in the same area. Either way, I tried to go to Nate to get. Oh God. I tried some crazy trades and that ended up being like, I wanted Cooks for the volume and Jeff Wilson for the upside. I'm just gonna get rid of Darren Waller. I was gonna pick up cheap Darren Waller tomorrow. I'm gonna get Gerald Everett. I'm gonna start and plug him. I know it's riskier than Darren Waller, it's obvious, but if I could have gotten Cooks for the volume
I was
and
gonna say
Jeff Wilson,
that would make sense.
Cooks would make sense. Allen Robinson is a much cheaper version.
Much riskier.
Much riskier.
He could be
100%.
great.
He could be great. And this is the thing. It's just I personally think Darren Waller's on a great offense. I still think it's a good offense. I think those are two great offenses. The 49ers and the Rams. They're two great offenses. So essentially, what I'm trying to do is just kind of rebuild back a flex position at that point for Darren Waller. But in Darren Waller's spot, I'm putting Gerald Everett. He's going to be mine tomorrow. No one will take him but P-Funk. If P-Funk takes him, that's collusion. I'll kill Dan. So
this doesn't air till like
that's what I'm saying. The only way P-Funk finds out is if Dan texts and say, "Hey, yo, Gerald Everett," and then all of a sudden P-Funk has 3 tight ends, and it's like, what? Like it should not happen by any means. So
it shouldn't, but that would be hilarious.
And you can say Darren. It's funny because Justin says, I think rightfully so. I chalk Darren Waller up to be a top 3, top 4 tight end. I think that's where he can. That's his ceiling. That's where he can be. He can be a top 1. But I need the depth. I don't have any. My wide receivers are disappointing. I was incorrect about garbage time and having a poor offense and getting some junk points. That's not a guy. Just poor offenses suck. So overall, that's why I got rid of Darren Waller. I think it might be a slight hit at tight end depending on how Gerald Everett plays out. But I think I gain. Personally, I have a lot of faith in Jeff Wilson as my flex going forward, even with the injury coming back. Jeff Wilson could also get injured tomorrow. He's a fucking piece of glass. So it's a risky one, but I mean, at this point, like I said, I need to risk it for the depth at that point.
I'll let you kind of know like what I saw when I saw it go down. I was over there and I'm like, did he just give up Darren Waller for a guy who's caught 5 fucking footballs?
Yeah.
And a running back that like may or may not be the starter in a couple weeks. Who fucking knows?
So again, I think Jeff Wilson is the better back. I think he ends up taking over, and I don't like Elijah Mitchell. I think he either will get injured again or stay injured. I just don't. Consistent plugging at Waller. I understand the risk, but I think this,
Waller could very well be that top 3.
Yeah, but what's the difference between top 3 and top 6? We're talking. It depends on the game, on the day in the game, right? So
according to Josh's stats the other week, the difference in the top 3 tight ends and the lower tight ends is quite large compared to, like, say, the quarterback position.
I do remember that. I will say,
your other trade you gave up.
Darren Waller literally gets targeted in the red zone. He dropped a touchdown last week. Darren Waller, by all means, should have closer to like 24 points. But it's a risky business. But if Robinson turns out to be a hit, which is risky, I understand the history. And if Jeff Wilson turns out to be something bigger on an offense that develops into something that could be very potent, my flex position will be filled. I will lose some points at tight end, which I can make up. I'm positive. So
sure. No, I think from a business standpoint, you had to make moves, and so I never judge moves now because we won't know until it plays out, right? So I
Darren
think
Waller will get hurt tomorrow.
you did
Either
need
way.
to go shopping, and you did that, and so we'll see. I love it.
And
Yeah, I
again,
mean,
oh, go ahead,
go ahead.
Josh.
No, I was just gonna chime in for a minute and just say, like, I'm kind of 50-50 on it because, like, I do understand where you're coming from with the trade. The only like issue I kind of have with it is, I just feel like there's a lot more questions with Robinson and Wilson than there is Waller, where, you're banking on the upside is what it is for both of them, and
100%.
for me, I wouldn't have done that. But like I said, it's also week 2, so we don't know which way it's gonna fall yet, since
Oh
because like
yeah.
you said, Wilson hasn't been a staple of health either. Like he's been injured a lot too. So like you said, he could get injured, and then like I said, Robinson, who knows? Like he only had what was it, 4 receptions last week? I mean, he did fall in the end zone, but Cooper Cup's still getting all that stuff. So you just got to see if he gets more involved, then yeah, that'll be a to me that'll help the trade work out. Let's say for
Yeah,
you.
I'm a fan of the Everett idea. I do like that backup plan.
Right, because I mean, that you're banking on that offense.
Yeah,
That's
potent
what,
offense, right?
and yeah, and if you're going the route that you're going by trading Waller, that's what you want to do. You want to target like that and a Dawson Knox, or yeah, they might get you 2-3 points
A
one
couple
week, but
weeks.
then
Yeah.
but then a couple weeks they can get you 2 touchdowns and 50 yards and
Fuck yeah.
win you a week.
Oh,
So
yeah,
that's
Gerald
Mhm.
Everett looked pretty good last week too. I watched that game. That was a big thing.
right,
I like the late,
I
and
did
I like
too.
how they involve him even when Keenan Allen's out there too. So
Because that was the
right,
Thursday night game, right?
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. I watched it on Prime, yeah. And he
And
looked
then
quite awesome.
I kind of feel the same way about your other trade too, like 50-50 bucks. Once again, I see why you did it. Like obviously Lamar is an upgrade
Mhm.
over Russ, who you have now. And then Drake is an upgrade right now, but if they do start getting Pitts more involved,
yeah. How
how
many
much
weeks are we gonna go till we say? I mean, you're right. You're right. I'm
no,
sorry.
but
I
all
didn't
I'm
mean to
saying
interrupt
though
you.
is how much is it gonna affect London? Because it could be where they both ball out. Like there's enough room in that offense for that to happen, but do you trust Marcus Mariota that much? To where I guess my issue with this, I felt like you gave up your best RB for, a flex worthy player and a quarterback, which is fine. But like I said, I've always downplayed the quarterback position because it's easier to find production there than it is anywhere else. So that's
Yeah.
my only issue with it. Because then you leave yourself with Zeke, who has been outperformed by Tony Pollard these first 2 weeks.
Hopefully Jeff Wilson
Um,
can fill in at that flex, and I don't have to play Zeke yet, but I do hope to see positive things.
Fair, but once again, once Elijah Mitchell comes back, that becomes a crowded backfield, and yeah, Jeff Wilson might go off a week or two, but he's not going to go off every week. If Elijah Mitchell's their guy, like if he wasn't, Jeff Wilson would have been the starter from the beginning. That's just the
No,
simple
you're
mind
right.
of it. So when Elijah Mitchell comes back, he's not going to be irrelevant to Jeff Wilson, no matter how good he performs. So then you leave yourself with, Antonio Gibson, which he's going to be fine. But then once Brian Robinson comes back, is he then going to be benched for Brian Robinson? Is he going to keep it? And then Alvin Kamara's hurt right now. And so it's just, for me, you gave up your staple at running back. And now you are hoping for everything with all these players with question marks to go right is my issue with both of these trades, I guess. Like you're banking on too much upside is my opinion, obviously.
Well, yeah, no, I can't. I guess what I would say is I do. Yeah, I gave up my safest running back. That was my. Me and Justin did talk for a while. The initial initiation was Waddle, but he wasn't. I mean, I wasn't even going to talk about Diggs because God knows he ain't going to give up Diggs.
Well,
Mhm.
no, yeah.
I tried to go into Waddle, but he didn't want to give up Waddle. He valued him really highly. I understand. He just got a 40-point game. He thinks he's going to be a top 5 receiver. I get it. I get it. He didn't, you can look at it. You can always look at anything. So I don't like to speak in absolutes because this is what I think where you get in trouble and where I got in trouble in the draft is just speaking in absolutes. Jeff Wilson will not be the start over Elijah Mitchell. Blah, 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 this, that. Like nothing. You don't really know. You are betting there's a
I
chance.
didn't. Well, first of all, I never said he wouldn't be the starter over Elijah Mitchell. I just said when Elijah Mitchell comes back, he's not going to be irrelevant.
Sure. No, that's
So,
fair. That's fair.
to where
But
is it going to be like a Buffalo Bills running back situation where 2, 3 guys are involved and you got to hope your guy gets the touchdown for him to be relevant. And that's the same thing with that Washington backfield when what's his face comes back, Brian Robinson. I'm not saying Antonio Gibson is gonna lose the job. I'm not saying that absolutely, but I'm saying there's a
I did
chance
say
to.
I
And
did
if
say
he
today
doesn't,
that if the guy who got shot 3 times comes back and takes that job because he's a baller, I will not be mad. That's gonna be so amazing if that dude who just got pumped comes on, outperforms Gibson, and even if it's a running back committee, yeah, no, that's gonna get real crowded soon.
well,
It's
right,
gonna be
that's what I mean. Like, how much are you gonna want, like in that? If
if
what
he
you see.
if he sucks, then Gibson keeps the job, right?
Well, yeah, you would no, and that's fair. That's what I mean, though. It's a 50-50 thing when he comes back. You got
Well,
to think,
yeah,
what type of game scripts are you planning on this team having?
100%. So I feel like
Too,
people.
because J.D. McKissick's in that backfield, so then it becomes a three-headed monster, is what I'm saying,
I hopefully won't be having to start Gibson at that point. I might be.
which is fair.
But I can understand. Essentially, the easiest way I can put this, I had Darren Waller, I had Najee Harris, I have not broken 100 points. Now you can say, Craig, you just need to wait for Russ to start cooking. You need to just wait for things to turn out right and just happen. I've been watching these games. I've been watching my luck with injuries. It's trending downward. Nothing I have is trending upward. I can at least take, yeah. So like I said, when we were talking with Justin, the initial talk was Kamara. It got downgraded to a safer option, which is Najee. Najee is by far my most safest consistent volume back, and it sucks to lose him. But I gain a quarterback with a higher ceiling, who might possibly win me weeks. I get Drake London, who was the third option out of anybody I wanted, but I told him I would do Najee for Drake London. He sent the trade, took Robinson with him, which is, or not Robinson. I'm sorry.
He dropped Robinson.
No,
Someone
Yeah,
dropped Robinson. Yeah.
I dropped Mark Ingram. He took Brian Robinson.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I see the upside. I don't think if I kept Najee and I don't think if I kept Darren Waller, I would be in a better situation right now. I think I
Fair
put
enough.
myself into a situation that has a higher upside. There is risk. You have to give an asset to get an asset. No, especially with Justin. Justin's not going to just give you someone without taking someone he likes. So I will sacrifice, hopefully, the solid floor of 10 to 15 a week with Najee and gain, and trust me, I will just say, so we don't drag this on, I am one who is, I understand the quarterback thing. I understand you can stream quarterbacks and the point difference isn't that big. I just don't really want to do it. And I like Lamar. I wanted Lamar. I said it at the start. I was glad he took him so I didn't have to worry about it. I think
Which
it's
is
a good
fair.
trade. I think he gets a really solid piece. I think he gets Najee, who's a really solid piece, who has a lot of high upside. He is
Yeah.
in. I don't have to worry about it.
Well,
And then
right.
I also get upside at these positions, and again, you can say negative things will happen to any player. I don't know why. Like Drake London could be the top 5 receiver this year. He could be top 20. Who knows? But it's week 2. He looks good. He's getting more volume. I need something at wide receiver. My wide receiver's fucking below.
Right, which is fair. And like I said at the beginning, I was 50-50 on both trades. I didn't love them, but I didn't hate them either.
And right.
I totally understood what you did, or why you did them and stuff. And
Justin had two losses, so he was obviously ready to trade, and so was Nathan. Just lost a tight end, so that was an easy, just trying to grab some stuff. So
yeah, he got lucky. He had some depth with Lamar balling out these first 2 weeks, and then London balling out these first 2 weeks.
Hopefully they don't
To be
crash and
able to
burn.
make that trade to kind of solidify his roster a little bit, hopefully. But like you said, he's 0-2 as well, so we'll see if this helps him or not. Because he was like, he was talking to me afterwards about it, and I was like, yeah, I give it, it's a B plus for you because you guys know I've had my reservations about Najee, anyways.
Yeah, and so did Dan. Everyone was shitting on Najee before the season started. 2 weeks in, everyone's telling me I made a bad trade. It doesn't. I just cracking up.
Right, and that's why sorry, Brent, go ahead.
No, go ahead, because I'm gonna give the final tidbit and then move us forward.
Yeah, and then we'll move on. Yeah, no, I was just gonna say that's why, the more I think about it, that one, the Najee trade, is probably a little better because, like you said, if you can if you're only thinking he's gonna get you 10 to 15, like you can get that probably from like a Zeke or something like that, but that's not gonna put him at a top 10 back to where if you if he doesn't, if he only gets you to 10 to 15, you probably made out with even just doing it straight up for Lamar. You know what I mean? So that trade I like a little more. The more you speak out your reasoning and I think about it and stuff. So it was just interesting to see so much activity, especially from one person this early in the season. You rarely see that
Shake
much
it up.
activity from a person in a whole fantasy year.
Right. I agree.
So it was just crazy, and and I do really understand the you didn't like the direction of your team and you did something about it, and that's what has to happen, honestly. Like,
I didn't want to sit and wait, man. Didn't want to sit and
yeah,
wait.
yeah. So go ahead, Brent. What were you gonna say?
No, I'm gonna tell you, the real issue with this fucking second trade. Okay, Craig, you silly Jew, you gave that slut who drafted 2 quarterbacks so soon a
Yeah,
great deal. I
yeah.
wanted to see him rot. I wanted to see Lamar rot on the bench all year while you streamed quarterbacks, and he kept, valuing them so high, and I got to laugh so hard. But
Well,
that's
Brent,
okay.
we do
That's
have
okay.
to wait because in a couple weeks it could be Najee is getting him 5 points anyways, and then
Or he's
Mahomes.
injured and gone all year. Yeah,
Right, and then Mahomes gets injured or is sucking, and then
yeah, I know.
Lamar is just balling out. Because then, if that's the case, it's like, that's what you get for that
So
draft
true.
strategy.
But I wanted it to happen so bad.
Right.
Especially after his shit last year. So, but and then to just have some fun with you, Josh,
Yep.
there was another trade that was offered, and
Yeah.
just to validate how funny this can be, is Craig. Let's see if you know who this guy is that's being offered here. Okay, so
Okay.
he's
Whoa, whoa,
asking.
whoa, whoa! That I'm offering or that I'm trying to get.
Yeah, so he's trying to get Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
And the first guy offered is Daniel Carlson. Who is that?
That is a kicker.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh! Yeah, well, you put it that way. It sounds like an awful trade. Get the fuck out of here.
Bro, Dan tried to trade me a kicker today, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but it
Was
wasn't just a kicker. You douchebags.
What
uh,
was the
there was more. There was so that was the first guy,
Tell
and
me.
then it was Cortland Sutton and T Higgins.
Yeah.
And right, you just
For who?
for Tyreek Hill,
Oh yeah, that would never
who
happen.
just put up a bomb, and then so Matt said. He was like, I was gonna send back for Barkley and 2 of my shittiest running backs and my kicker to send a message. I'm like, dude, you gotta do that shit. You gotta get your legs under you,
Okay,
boy.
Yeah,
You in
first
for
of
this
real.
all,
league where we're men, and you can
Right.
definitely do that to Josh.
I see. First of all, this is where I have an issue
Get him, Josh.
because T. Hagen, you're at the like not you personally, Brent, but
I am a
Barber.
little bit though. You
I
can hit
guess,
me too.
I guess now I'm talking to Barber because he's acting like I am sending him. Um, I don't know. He's acting like I'm sending him Rashad Penny, Damian Pierce, and my kicker for Tyreek Hill. Like
Hmm.
I'm sending him T. Higgins, who was think a top 15 receiver last year. And yeah, last week he got injured. Well, week 1 he got injured. But him and Jamar are both like right there together. The only I did this, I don't know if you guys remember, I think week
Yep,
1
yep.
I said it
The comparison
about
was
how
very solid.
yeah, that the
And
only thing that Jamar
pre-draft,
Chase.
I was very high on Higgins.
Right, but to where he still is that person. Like he
Sure.
had a concussion week 1, so that's why, that's where he's only, what is it, wide receiver 38 right now because he
Sure.
had that. But and then Cortland Sutton, who especially if Jerry Judy is injured for any amount of time, like his floor is 10 to 11 points, but his upside is crazy. No matter what you think, like he's the only receiver. They don't have Tim Patrick. KJ Hamler's been non-existent. their tight ends. Ask Dan how their tight ends did. I think their tight ends got Dan 0 points last week. So you're acting like he's acting like I'm sending him complete trash when really I don't know. I looked at his team, I guess. Hold on, let me get to it real quick.
So you basically want to make him give you Hill and take out Renfro, so he has like 2 right there's, and then you get the Tyreek Hill. Technically, that's kind of the gist because he's got Renfro and Cooper. Does have Cooper?
Yeah, he does have Cooper on his bench. Yeah.
I mean, Cooper did. Jeez, that'll happen again.
Right.
He's kind of got like Thielen too, plus like those Jets wide receivers are putting the same same points as Sutton. So I don't know. He's got a lot of depth at receiver, so like it's hard to target his like almost number one.
Yeah, I also think it's one of those offers where it just doesn't make you kind of like salivate in any way. Like you're not like, what's that juicy piece? The only like really juicy piece would be, or like a Najee Harris, but like the T Higgins part, right? Like if you really liked T Higgins, and then yeah, that trade would be interesting.
I do like Cortland Sutton a lot. It's a good starting point. Like he could have countered back. It's not terrible.
Absolutely counter. I think the funny part was the kicker on it, at least for me. I've never seen a kicker in an offer before.
Potent offense. It is a potent offense.
So that was the first I've seen it, but that was definitely okay. It cracked me up. And then so that was just giving Josh some troubles there.
Hello.
There he is. I knew you might be coming back.
Okay, yeah, hold on. Let me defend myself real quick, you fuckers. All right.
Anyway,
we solidified it.
Next segment.
No, Craig got to defend himself. He did it for 30 fucking minutes. I get to defend myself. All right. But no, so and that's the thing that pisses me off too, is that like I said, that's not anywhere close to the same as offering whatever junk he was gonna offer me, even if it wasn't a joking matter for or not DeAndre Swift, but Saquon Barkley or anything. And Daniel Carson was the number 1 kicker last year, and he's gotten 9 and 13 points this week, which is better than any of his kickers have done. So my kicker's automatically an upgrade from his kicker. But like I was going to say, though, is I just felt like any of his receivers outside of Tyreek Hill, I would not take over those 2 receivers I offered him. And like I said, I feel like T. Higgins. Now, when I say he has the same upside as Tyreek Hill, I don't mean Tyreek Hill has the ability to get you these 40-point games, where I don't think T. Higgins has that. But I feel like T. Higgins has the just as high as an upside when it comes to like they'll finish around the same range overall. Does that make sense at the end of the year?
Absolutely, yeah, because the T Higgins consistency is there.
Right, exactly. And then I give you an extra because, like I said, I think right now he's kind of juggling between, Travis Etienne hasn't been what he thought he would be. Neither is Josh Jacobs. Adam Thielen. Like you guys are kind of saying like he's there. He's gonna boom a week or two, but he's not gonna give you anything consistent. Amari Cooper, how much are you trusting Amari Cooper to do what he did last week with Jacoby Brissett? That's his thing. So I guess I took it as I was offering him basically one more spot that he doesn't have to worry about, and then he only has to figure out a flex instead of another receiver / flex to put in there. That's where that offer was coming from. But he could have also been like, "Hey,
Matt, you moron."
Yeah, but he could have also been like, "Hey, I just don't view person A as highly as you do. Would you do it for this person?" That's the thing that pisses me off is they take the first one and then they just assume like you guys said, this is my like extending of starting a trade conversation. It doesn't mean like this has to be it.
You're just teasing him, a little foreplay.
Right, like if he would have came back like, "Hey, what would you do like Michael Thomas and someone else?" get rid of the
I
kicker.
would have looked at that move more as like a thumb right up the butthole, dry. Like, whoa, Josh, what are you doing? Back off.
Or
Not
that,
wet
like,
enough. Not
or
wet
like
enough.
that,
Not
like,
wet
hey,
enough.
like, or that, just be like, hey, I'll do it, but take out the kicker and add person C. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
so that's all. That's all it was. So
Or send back the one
Yeah, it's not a
asking for
horrible.
Saquon
Yeah, I mean,
and
you,
offering like 3 kickers.
yeah, just gotta send it back next time, and
Well,
then
first of all, if you're going to do that, that means you have to drop people to roster 3 kickers.
Just to
So
get the joke through.
just
Absolutely.
to get the joke through. So yeah, Barber, please do that. Please send me a trade for 4 kickers. Actually, I might accept it for Saquon. So,
that would be
but
like,
no, that was
what if
it.
you
Just
still won? What if you still won the league, bro? That'd be like a huge power move.
I should do it just to have a dry thumb up or thumb up the dry ass, whatever Brent just said.
That was
Um,
it, dude. You got it.
we might as well talk about my other offer that I offered to Funk.
Oh, what'd you offer? What's that one?
Yeah. Was it
Yeah, this one's way worse. I'm not gonna lie.
straight fist up the bowl?
For pretty much.
Dry
I mean,
butthole thumb. What?
it's worse, but it's not. So it's Michael Thomas and Derek Carr and Rashad Penny and Pierce for Henry. That
That's
one's
interesting.
way worse, I think, than the one I sent to
What is it?
Barber.
Say it again one more time. Just one more time.
Hold on.
I know
Derek
Michael.
Carr,
Yeah.
Michael Thomas,
Okay.
Rashad Penny, and Damian Pierce for Derrick Henry.
It's not the worst, depending
They
on how
say
you
that.
do Henry.
Yeah, I was gonna say that
No.
didn't
I mean,
hurt to hear that at
say
all.
if he's got some people to drop
Because
and that
especially
Henry
like
good.
Funk is another business right now that needs to make some moves.
Yeah, I ain't pulling no
Right.
Bren. You know what I'm saying? I ain't sitting here waiting.
Yeah, don't do what I did last year. That
That's
was a
why I said
mistake.
achievement unlocked, Bren. That was for you.
That
I
was-
got the quarterback from him. I had to
I
give
love
up.
it.
I had to give up my heart, but you know it is
You
what it is.
did.
No, I think you did the right thing, Craig. If that's what you felt you needed to do and you did it, I'm all for it, buddy.
I knew you'd understand, Josh.
Oh,
Yes.
so we decided to, that hey, we want to have a guest on the podcast, and we knew we wanted to pick a week, so we went with week 4. Week 4 is when we want to have our first guest on the pod. And so we wanted to come up with a creative way to decide that guest. Like, because we know there's a couple suitors out there. A couple people have mentioned, like, hey, when am I going to be on? A couple of my coworkers, so them as well. So we came up with roughly 5 questions. It came out to 6 for deciding who we're going to pick. And each question is going to have a little intro here on the podcast. And then Josh is going to send out the form and just fill it out. Give us your best answer. It doesn't have to be like a paragraph long or like an essay long, couple sentences, because we do want you to explain your reasoning. We want to be able to judge the different question answers.
Yeah. So first, like, too, I was just gonna say, I guess if you, I was gonna say just text me with if you want to be on the podcast, and then that way I could email you the form, or you could email me it back. That way I'm not sending it to people who don't
True.
want to be on the podcast or whatever. So just shoot me a text. Do
And
it
we'll throw that in the
privately.
group chat. We'll be like,
Right.
yo, if you want to be on the pod, shoot Josh a text. This way everyone sees it.
Right, exactly. But then yeah, and then we'll whoever gets the highest score, quote unquote, that we decide, you'll be the first one on the pod next week.
Yeah.
So give us your best stuff. But Bren, have you ever been like just sitting at home, smoking your pens, just watching football, smashing pizza rolls, touching yourself, and just thought to yourself, man, I wish I wasn't white? Because
Every day.
so that's the first question, right? I figured a lot of people do that type of thing, sit there and think about that. So The first question is, if you were any other ethnicity, not for someone like Mac or Funk, who's not white and they're another ethnicity, it's just any ethnicity other than your own.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to be a different one, what would you be and why? Which ethnicity would you be and why?
I
All
plead the
right.
fifth.
Yeah, no, we're not going to give our answers now. We'll just go ahead and go over the questions.
Yeah, we're going
One,
over the questions and then we'll judge your answers privately.
fuck yeah, this is all about what
Privately.
you have to offer us, guys.
Yes,
Okay, remember
exactly.
that. You're
Yeah.
trying to convince us to choose you with these answers. Um, so like one for me was picture a world. This is where it's gonna have to combine a few different worlds because I'm combining a few different movies, and I want you to choose a villain. And so I have Hans Gruber from Die Hard. I've got Shooter McGavin, and then I got everybody's league villain Shane. Those are gonna be the three options, and you got to choose one and explain to me why they're the worst or best villain, whatever you want to tell me. And then the other one that I'm doing is again just sell it to us. So my other question is, why should you be the first guest? I understand that we are probably going to get other guests on the podcast, like we are going to do that. But if you want to be the first guy, tell me fucking why. What do you bring that you deserve to be the first one?
Where's the
That's right.
meat?
It's like because we're better than you and we know it. That's
Mm-hmm.
what do you have to offer us?
You're a
That's right,
global
Craig.
Jim.
Tell them. Tell them. All right, Craig. What are your questions?
A professional esports team has recruited you. What is your gamer tag?
Tell me a little bit more about what that means, Craig.
So, the Dallas Cowboys come up to you because they just lost a quarterback. Now, this is on Madden. This is not real life because we all know no one can play football. So, what's your gamer tag? You got a gamer tag online. What is it?
Okay. I love it. I love it because for me, like, too, when you think about the esports, it's when you're going pro. So it's gonna be that gamer tag that everybody's gonna know you by. I think that's like the key thing for me there. Like,
Right. Think of
it's
a little kid going to their mom and saying, "Hey, mom, I want to be like smoke weed every day,
you're right.
420."
Yes, exactly. Like that gamer tag, you can still do that one and argue that one. I'm fine with that. But I
That's gonna be
also
a
would
top
love to
ranked
see
one.
your like pro name.
Right, right. And then, so another question. Imagine this, folks. Your dad gets a new job, right? So your mom moved to a different town for your dad to be a trainer, and just imagine you guys move in and you're on your way to see your dad at his new gym, and then on your way, all of a sudden, some douchebag named Gary stops you and says, "Let's battle." Who is your Pokemon that you choose to fight douchebag Gary? And why?
Douchebag Gary.
Like get the battle music in there.
Right.
Right? Fuck yeah, dude.
Exactly. Exactly. And if you really want to be
Who is
cool,
your starter?
tell us the first attack he would use too with said Pokemon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
Once
fantastic.
again, we don't want a paragraph.
Bonus
We
points.
just
You'll get extra credit. You'll get extra credit
yeah,
for an
maybe
attack.
some extra credit,
You
but
can name it for maybe the one attack that would destroy the first gym if you were Pikachu. Just saying.
right. Yeah. Thunderbolt, obviously.
No, how dare you? I think
Right.
the third one, yeah, is in the outback,
Yeah?
right? You're out in Australia, you know.
Oh, okay, mate.
Chris Hemsworth out there, he's shooting Thor. He looks good over there. Yeah,
Oh,
he's taking
Down
steroids.
on the barbie, eh?
Oh my God! You look down at your feet, they're furry. You're a kangaroo. Holy shit! You look up, Kangaroo Jack's coming at you. He's got boxing gloves. He's ready to swing on you. You look in your pouch. What's in your pouch?
what's
What's
in
in
your
there?
pouch?
That's the second question, and that was Chris Hemsworth. Thank you. That was a guest star. Thank you, Chris.
That's hilarious.
Coming on here.
That was our first guest.
First guest star. He really took he paid us. So
yeah.
what did you bring to the table?
Oh my god, that is too funny.
I love it. This is gonna be fun.
No one did understood any of that. That's
they'll get it, dude. It makes sense.
I know. I was just gonna say though. Let's so yeah, just we'll say it in the group chat as well. Just text me and we'll get that info over to you for you to fill out your application.
Fuck yeah, dude.
So, all right, boys, you ready to jump into the matchups?
Heck yeah, let's break them down.
All right, break them down. All right, let's go. So we have some pretty good matchups this week.
Yeah,
I feel like.
Can you do? So I gotta pull it up real quick. Can you do the win loss?
Yeah, save me and you for last, Josh. I'm gonna fuck you up.
Craig, you're talking about the league record win loss.
I just mean.
Or are you talking about our picks wise?
Our picks, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Thank you, because I always forget about that till the end. Yeah. So last week, Bren, you went 4-1.
Let's go.
Which was the complete opposite of last week or the week before when you went 1-4.
Right?
So
I needed that.
Well, it was pretty funny because you were 1-4 and then you went 4-1. I was 2-3 and I went 3-2. so we're both 5-5.
Okay.
Craig, you went 2-3.
Yeah, bad
last week. Yeah, so you're 6-4, and then Melanie went 3-2 last week. So her and Ike are 5-5. So 3 of us are 5-5, and Craig is 6-4.
Wow.
And and then in the over
must be that Jew math that just gets him that little slight edge.
Right.
The secret. Still got the formula.
In the over under, we all went 4-1. And the only one that didn't hit was we all went over the total for Brennan Funk. And honestly, no matter how low that total was, I think they were going under. So,
oh my god.
So my record, my record is 6-4. Bren 7-3, and Craig 8-2 with that. So, Craig, you got a heads up on. All right.
Nice.
Now that that's through, we'll go through and do the matches. Yeah, we'll say Bren and I for last. Let's start it off with probably the worst matchup of Funk versus Dan.
Oof.
I'm gonna pull that up real quick. It's I mean, I kind of have to go Dan. I don't know if I could trust Funk's team at all at this point.
Edmonds is struggling. Rodgers is pulling a Russell Wilson. Keenan Allen is back. That is a plus. Chase Edmonds.
You think he's back? You think he's back?
You never know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You never know.
Yeah,
and
he's
then
kind of in that sit and wait position. I agree, Dan.
But then still, even who's he gonna put at his flex? Right now he has Jerry Jeudy. So yeah, I mean,
maybe I'm going Cam Akers week.
Yeah, it could be. That's true. I mean, who am I to tell him who to play? So I'm going Dan. Craig, you're going Dan.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Dan as well. I think it's just right now, Funk just has too much figuring out to do with the injury.
Yeah, I mean, if he makes that trade with me, I'll probably pick Funk, but he hasn't accepted it yet. So, Ike did go Funk, so we'll see how that is. What's that?
I was gonna say he could get. He's gone 4-0 and I think won a ship that year, so or something like that. It's like 4-0, 0-4, 0-5.
I was about to say, I think it was 0-5 or 6. Yeah,
it's crazy.
So, I mean, this could just be a crazy week too, where every single one of his players go off. Yeah, because you can use that argument too that he's due, but I'm not taking that risk. So right now, obviously, we're doing this before waivers and everything. So if there's changes to these totals and stuff, it is what it is. We're doing with what we have now. So Funk is 118.4, Dan 130.6. That brings the total of 249 for the over under. Bren, what are you going?
I'm gonna go over 130 for Dan.
Ooh.
I'll just go under the total.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go the Funk under there. Yeah, until his team proves something, then I can't pick him to go over. So 1, 2, 4. All right, next matchup is Nate versus Mac.
Oh,
I
bro,
thought this is
I'm
what's
sorry.
that?
They put a line on this. There's a 12.1 line for Funk in week 3.
Yeah, that's like I think the point differential, isn't it?
It might be. It's 12.2. Either way, I'm sorry. Where are we going? Which matchup?
Nate versus Mac. I felt like this was one of the more interesting matchups of the week.
I mean, these are some high flyers. We got some high
Right.
flyers.
Let me see.
Yeah, these are two teams that are really proven to be some contenders.
Yeah. I mean, if you like look at it too, they kind of have the exact same team. Questionable quarterbacks, pretty good running backs, two really good receivers, shitty tight ends, questionable flexes. Like, yeah, I mean, am I reading that wrong? Like, it kind of, I mean,
Yeah,
obviously, like, not exactly equal, but like, you could argue which way for most of those things.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd have to agree.
oh man, so Craig, who are you gonna go?
I will. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I put you on the spot first.
Oh, so like you said, it's hard to go against Mac. Man, he's been putting up points. I do like Nate's matchups better, so I will say Nate.
All right, B man.
Oh, something to point out from last week, just for those people that actually listen to our podcast. We
All
helped
four of them.
Nate. Yeah. But we were telling Nate last week, don't start Miles Sanders. We happened to come up with a sweet rhyme for the guy we wanted him to start.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not going to give Nate a hard time for probably not hearing the podcast, even because I know he's got the wedding and stuff going on, so he might not have
Right.
listened to it. He did end up switching and started Cooks though, which was fine.
Yeah.
But out of the three, James Robinson did have the highest points. So when we break these matchups down, these boys should be listening, dude.
Right.
We're
There's a
on
win.
top of
reason.
our shit, dude. Like, we're
Yep.
fucking good.
Exactly.
Um, and saying that, I'm going with my
Good
boy
advice.
Nate.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna break. That being said, I'm going Mac.
Oh man.
You know what? Because I went Nate as well. I'm gonna go Mac just for the sake of
Okay.
humanity.
Yeah, he
I
put up
feel
some points.
Wow.
Put up
I
some
feel
points.
like if it's this close, that it shouldn't be a clean sweep. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, so I just feel weird if I pick Nate as well. Because Mac does have Cooper Cup, who's just a target hog. Like, that guy's gonna get 20 points just because of his yardage and catches. Like, it's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh, have you seen Aaron
so
Robinson?
Wide receiver numero uno.
right, yeah. I mean,
Right
but then
there,
again,
dude.
I'm on Ross St. Brown ain't much further behind at this point. But
Well,
no,
if
it's
he
like
if he keeps averaging 9 catches a game, you're right.
right. But no, so Nate's projected 115.1, Mac 124.6. So the total is 239.7.
Well,
I'm going over the total. of
I am as
239.7.
What is Nate's points?
115.1.
You don't want to add Waller's points onto that?
Nope, because it's not on there right now.
Okay. I will go over 115.
Yeah,
Okay.
unfortunately, with the over and unders, we just have to go on what's there at the time. We can't. Yeah.
Right.
You can add it, but what? Okay, that's all right. No worries. I understand. That makes it way easier.
I think it just makes it easier.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
Craig. You take the time to do that.
Nah, I hear you.
And next one is Shane versus Justin. Shane projected 123.2, Justin 117.2 with a total of 240.4. So let's see here at their matchup. This one, especially with Najee getting there, it'll be a lot closer. I guess I didn't take that into account with Nate of Waller being there. I'll still take Mac. Why not? Um, I think I'm gonna go Justin, just to spite Shane. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going Justin.
I'm gonna go with Shane in this one. But I'm interested to see what his final starting lineup's gonna be. I think he could fix it.
Yeah,
um,
I think he will. He's waiting probably to see if Pittman is healthy or not.
right, Pittman's healthy. I mean, you could even consider looking to start Rashad Bateman, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, at his flex.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if I love the Marquise Brown start. I guess that's my.
Right, yeah. Christian Kirk might be a fucking steal for him. He's been balling.
Yeah, right. I think that is gonna be a steal. I didn't think he
Um,
was gonna be as good as he is doing.
He's just catching those touchdowns, bro.
But
He got a
yeah,
well,
really short one last week, too.
well, he's not even just catching touchdowns though. He's getting the targets too.
Oh, no, for sure. Yeah. He's getting utilized like crazy. 4th and 1 at the goal line. He gets past you. That's crazy. That's nutty.
Like, dude, week 1, 6 receptions on 12 targets. Week 2, 6 receptions on 6 targets. So I mean,
Great.
you
Yeah,
know,
that's a great.
so he seems to be the wide receiver one there. So as long as they don't revert back to Urban Meyer offense,
well, yeah, I guess that was my thought process, right? Yeah, I knew he was the wide receiver one, but I just thought that offense might be so piss poor again that they
right,
just couldn't move the ball.
Right.
right. So yeah,
Diggs
Craig,
at, I'll
who
say
you
Diggs at
take?
Miami looks pretty juicy.
Yeah, that might be
Um,
a high scoring game.
yeah.
Right?
Miami's freaking offense.
Oh man, Patty Mahomes at the Colts, and yeah, I do like. Man, it's gonna be even with Najee in there. It's gonna be close. I I like Shane's team. Unfortunately, I think he's gonna change his defense up. I'd have to assume, and yeah, he probably plugs in maybe Kittle or Pittman and some other players. I don't know.
Fair enough.
I'll take Shane.
Okay, and
I do like Waddle though. I am that's crazy. Those are you guys are nuts.
Right.
which over under you doing, Craig?
I will do over Shane.
Same. I was gonna do over the
So
123.
Shane over 123.2. B-man. I think I'll go over the total. Uh, I think this will be another one of the. I think once the more we get into the year and people start figuring out their lineups and who's good and who's not, that will a lot of these totals will shoot up, and you know, hopefully we won't have any of the funks and the Craigs of scoring 80 points in a full PPR league.
No promises. No
You
I was
know.
promises.
gonna, I was gonna say I think those are gonna keep happening.
Okay, fair, but the rest of us will probably get better. So,
That's all that matters.
The rest of us for sure. Yeah, we'll be fine. You two
so
are
the next
fine.
one we'll do is Craig versus Barber, and Craig, this is I didn't, especially you. You made a shit ton of trades, so I am not calculating everyone
How dare you calculate it now?
I'll calculate it in my decision, but not in your point total. So,
don't worry. I understand.
so your point total right now is the lowest out of anyone at 107.8, and Barber's is actually the highest. Nope, second highest. Dan was the highest at 130.3 for Barber, with the total of 238.1. So, but I mean, with some of your, yeah, I mean, if Kamara's healthy, he could probably even out with Swift. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, I have to go Barber, Craig.
That's fine. I also go Barber.
Oh, the old switcheroo.
I also go Barber. I'm done betting against him. I'm just gonna try to jinx him now. You got it, buddy.
Well, I'm going Barber too.
Yeah, that's a sweep.
That's a clean sweep for Barber.
Tell me Ike chose Barber too.
He did, so that's a clean
Nice.
sweep for Barber.
Clean
Curse
sweep.
upon you, Barber. The
It's
4-pick curse.
hilarious when Barber wins.
I am going over though for you, Craig. I'm doing your over 107.8. You've yet to crack the 100, but you were close last week. You actually, I think you had 90 the first week too, didn't you?
What's your total say for me? Mine says 120.6. Is that what you said?
Yeah, mine says it now. But yeah, if you made any changes to your lineup before he did his look at it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I understand now.
Well, then I can. Well, for that, like if it's something like that, I guess I could change it right now. I just meant like,
I mean, 107. If you want to be realistic, it's probably like you said.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten over 100 yet. So if you want to leave it there, I'm fine with that.
No, because that felt like taking candy from a baby.
That's fair.
But I'll still give you the credit, Craig. I'll go over 120.6.
Thank
You.
I
I
hope.
just think
I hope.
Barber's gonna crush you. All right, what are you going, Craig? What are you picking?
I will go. Man, this sucks. I will say Barber scores over 130.
Okay, Brent.
I'll go over 120 for Craig.
All right, and now the matchup of the week.
Dun 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
At least on this podcast, but it is also the matchup of the week because we, Bren, have the highest projected total matchup. So Bren, you're projected 121, and I am projected 130.1. So,
Well, it's obviously Watson's racist.
yeah, he obviously wants to be Mexican would be his other ethnicity choice.
Yeah.
But Craig, who are you going before Brennan and I battle this out?
Oh man, this is a tough one, boys. Kyler Murray at the Rams, good, pretty decent defense, but I'm gonna give Murray over Carr. I love Joe Mixon and Barkley probably can cancel out. I think Fournette over Patterson. I think Deebo Samuel over Sutton. Those guys, give you Michael Thomas, give you Kelsey, give you Davis. Got to give it to Josh. Too many to Josh.
Let's go.
Is Davis in a boot or something? Is he dead? He's still alive?
Have you heard of T. Higgins?
Fucker. Ike did go Bren as well. So I'm assuming, unless Bren, are you pulling a Craig and giving me the bad juju and picking me?
No. I've got all the juju. I'm keeping all of it.
Yeah. See, I just think I'm gonna crush you, Bren. I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think Kyler Murray's gonna go back to Kyler Murray of last year, where
What a tough matchup.
He's just throwing random picks. He's falling down in his own end zone and just throws it right to the other team. Gives up a touchdown instead of a safety. I think he's gonna be doing that stuff, And then, but yeah, I am afraid of you. I'm less afraid of CeeDee Lamb now. now that there's no Dak Prescott there.
Right.
But yeah.
Very unfortunate scenario there in Dallas.
But my boy did catch the ball 7 times.
He did.
So not terrible volume.
Right.
But no, I'm not loving that keep right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, you couldn't have anticipated Dak getting hurt
No,
either. You know. But
but
dude,
he didn't have a great game 1 either.
yeah, the Giants defense has actually been pretty solid this year. They're giving up 20 and then 16. Now, granted, they haven't faced the best of offenses, but Dallas won't be the best of offenses either with Cooper Rush, So Debo against Denver, I like that matchup for me.
Right. Yeah, I've got some tough matchups this week. I don't like Kyler against the Rams.
Your only hope for that one is if it's a shootout.
Right.
Kind of like the
But
Buffalo game where the Rams just decided to not guard anyone, pretty much.
yeah, and I think Kyler clearly struggles without DeAndre Hopkins there. He needs that 50-50 boy. He needs him.